Okay, so we are recording. Um, yeah, so today we are looking at some scams. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like to learn the second consultation. It's like I met them on Saturday,
Yeah,
and obviously they were having the taking the pharmaceuticals for a month, right?
yeah.
And then I did the scan again, and my planning it was like to make to study with you and see. My plan is to lend them the My Health for a week to each of them
Okay, yeah,
with a prescription or what you recommended on it. Okay, and
okay,
they agree. So the first one will be Sue Roberts. I will be going on Saturday to give I'm going to order today the remedies for them.
yeah, okay,
So you can send it by post to them.
yeah,
And then on Saturday, I start with Sue Roberts. And the next week, I'll be going to see the other one and lend it for a week,
okay,
the
okay.
remedy.
Just to
So,
let you know that there's a postal strike in the UK today.
oh, well,
I know. When I was like, I've got I put a client order through yesterday myself, and I'm like, and it came up saying it won't be dispatched until won't actually be sent until tomorrow. So any orders that go through today by the postal system won't actually leave the office until tomorrow because there's no pickup today.
okay. So I can do the order later today. You will
Yeah, do
have
the
one
order today, and
tomorrow.
then that will go out. Then that will be picked up tomorrow. Yeah.
And then hopefully it will be delivered Saturday. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Helen.
Yeah, I know. It's just that I know everyone keeps striking, don't they? And it's like, oh, so annoying because you just
Well, that's the times we are living now.
oh, I know. It's just frustrating, isn't it? Just so frustrating. I'm like,
Well, the cost of living is rising dramatically because every time I go to the shop, the other day I bought normally an ice cream, £3, and suddenly it's 3.30, and you go to the bread and it's 50p more, and you go to somewhere, it's everywhere. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know how people are going to cope in general.
I don't know. I mean, I was with a friend last night, and she's on her own. She's widowed as well, and we were talking about this because I went to the supermarket last Friday, and I didn't think I bought that much. But I was having some friends around for dinner. I bought a few extra things like some wine and beers and stuff, um, and I spent over £100. I'm like, what did I spend £100 on? I just
Yeah.
can't figure it out. It's like, well, there's actually not a lot of food there. It's just,
And even
yeah,
the
yeah,
heating and the heating and electricity hasn't started yet to the peak because still the weather is more or less okay.
yeah.
I imagine when people start putting the heating on and the bill will be rising up, wow, it's amazing. It's going
Yeah.
to be
I have succumbed. I have put my heating on a couple of times. I'm like, sometimes it's like, oh, I tend to put it on in the morning for an hour because I don't like a cold bathroom. I need to have a warm bathroom. Like, can't be dealing with a cold bathroom. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's just, yeah, I've budgeted enough money for my heating, which has gone up probably. It's gone up from probably about £100 a month to £300 a month.
I think it raised like 200%.
Yeah,
The normal 200% is amazing. It's like
crazy, isn't it? Just crazy. So yeah, I really feel for people who are on a very tight budget, what they're going to do.
yeah. Apparently they cannot cut the supplier, the gas, and because apparently some friends who has been reading, studying on this field, they say if you don't pay, they cannot take your energy from you. It's like
What they can do, they can't cut your energy supply completely, but what they will do, they will go into your home and they'll change your meters to a prepayment meter.
oh
So
well,
they're allowed to do that. So what happens if somebody gets into deficit with their bill, to stop them getting into any more deficit, what they'll do, they'll go into their home and they'll change their meter to So they have to buy the energy before they can use it.
Wow, difficult. Okay, let's
So
go
yeah,
to our business.
yeah, I mean, it's that I actually know quite a lot about the energy market because I have another business that works with that. So it's, yeah, but you know, the way we've seen bills go up, it was like, you know, people with you know, a couple of years ago, there were so many amazing deals out there. It was like, you know, paying next to nothing for their energy, and now all of a sudden it's just like gone from that to, you know, and it's like, whoa. And I don't think any of us really sort of were prepared for such a dramatic change in the market.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I think it will be good for health. I was talking to my wife the other day and said, many times when you are with a little bit more cool room, your immune system boosted, and then you are less prone to have the normal problems we have when we have too much heating and things like that. So in a way, if you accommodate, will be even better.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I think that, you know, what's happened over, you know, we've become very complacent, haven't we? You know, you know, I mean, me and my husband, you know, we used to just have the heating on all the whole time. And then it was like, perhaps we don't need to do that anymore. And so last year, when we had a new boiler put in, we actually became a lot more energy efficient. And that actually we don't need, it doesn't need to be on 24/7, which we used to keep it running low. And then someone said, oh, you know, that's like the most inefficient thing you can do. So we started then turning the heating off, and then just putting it on when the temperature really dropped. And we were using, like, you know, throws and things like that. So where the throw would normally sit on the back of the couch, we took them off and we actually wrapped ourselves in them. So
That's very good.
you know, little things like that. And obviously, you know, I mean, I'm probably not quite dressed for the weather like you are. You know, you've kind of got a few extra layers on, but which is a good thing.
Well, this comes from my mountaineering skills, which I learned when I was young. And I normally prefer to live a little bit cooler outside, but inside with layers. It's like my body is more strong physically and energetically than if I with heat around, but with short leaves and things like that. I don't think it's very, very useful. Anyway, it's my way of thinking.
Okay, well, let me do it. Let me get into your account. And do a share screen. So what's been the feedback? We're going to look at Sue's scanning first of all,
yeah, I'll tell you which one is the.
Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to go into hang on, let me just go back in. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to go into clients.
Sorry.
I'm going to go to Sue's account. This one here.
Yeah, Sue Roberts. Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is view her account, and if we go down, we can actually do a compare scan.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just. Yeah. That's very important. This is one question I was going to ask you.
So that was
the compare.
September, and this is October. Okay. So what's been the feedback from Sue in terms of her first month on the pharmaceuticals? How has she found that?
She was better. She was like the original complaint that in the abdomen with some kind of distress because some of the organs were like moving us. She's much better. She's sleeping much better. She was saying that she was dreaming, which was quite positive for her. And in general, she was happy. She was not saying, obviously, I don't know what normally people are expecting, but obviously if it's something like positive, that means like the remedies are working.
Yeah.
And in general, she feels better. Both of them, they were saying they were feeling better. That's why they said, okay, let's go for another test or another trial or another course of remedies.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the thing is, you know, one of the biggest challenges we have is, you know, being able to sort of monitor, you know, where somebody was and where they are now. So which is why, you know, sort of lots of note taking, finding out what's going on with them and making, you know, and then we can discuss that with the client the next time we see them, see how things have changed. So it's great that she's, you know, feeling happier, feeling perhaps more at peace with herself. If someone's sleeping pattern changes for the better, that's like massive tick. Because generally, that, you know, we're looking to to support the body as it's going through those different healing levels. And it really depends on what somebody is presenting with as to how that healing journey will happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can see straight away from, you know, from where she was in September. So BFA has gone from purple to yellow.
Yeah.
Okay, we've now got the day in pharmaceutical coming up, which we can have a look at that. She's now got muscle showing. But if we look at what's clearing, so this is, as we come further down, we can see that the immunity's got much better. Her heart meridian is still an orange priority, but there are some changes there.
Yeah.
Okay. Kidney has cleared. That's completely
the triple burner came out. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so this is interesting because when we look at the day in pharmaceutical, that's looking at how we store energy.
What it means, this triple burner? What is the
so
mean?
the triple burner is looking at the three big cavities in the body. So the body is full of cavities. Okay, and we need to we need to support those cavities with energy so that it can drive information through the body. Okay, it's like a communication process. So when the triple burner meridian is showing, what we're looking at is how the body isn't able to store energy as effectively as it should do.
Right. Yeah.
So that one is on the meridian, and that's linked with the function of the thyroid gland.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go and have a look at that in a bit more detail. But what is interesting is that the triple cavity star.
Right. Yeah, that was given the last time. I think the prescription last time was the cavity one, and then it's gone. It's cleared up.
Yeah. The memory imprinter has gone to green, which is good. That's all about identity. And it's driving information around the heart center. She's now got the nerve star coming up, so we can go into a little bit more detail and see why that's come up. Chill. I mean, that's fantastic that we're seeing a change with that.
Yeah. Okay. And this video, they asked me about the video one. What does it mean, the video one?
Yeah, so when the video comes up, or sometimes we might see audio coming up, is that there's a memory that it's still in the body's energy field, that's something that we may have physically witnessed.
Oh, right. It's like a past situation in the body. Yeah,
absolutely. So it just sort of kind of give you a sort of it can be something recent, it could be something which has been, you know, there for many years. So after my husband passed away, it took me a couple of weeks before I could do a scan. I just couldn't comprehend anything. The audio came up and video came up.
All right. Yeah.
So I was the one that found him.
Sorry?
And then I was the person that actually found him.
Yeah.
And then I also had the audio shock of being told, and like all I can remember is people just kept saying sorry for your loss, and I'm like, I just couldn't comprehend what was happening. I just had a massive shock of finding, you know, my husband, and then knowing that he was obviously being told that there's nothing we can do, he's gone, was huge. So for me, that was quite a recent thing. This, you know, for Sue, it might be something that which has been sitting in her body for waiting to come out.
Right.
Okay. She's got immunity.
One thing, when I went to see her at her home, she has 2 dogs, and one has been very, very ill, and the vet has said to her that it was probably going to die in the next few days. And they were dogs that she has for 15 years. It was like, probably could be even something emotional as well in that field, or no?
Oh my God, yeah. So if we look at, so she's got one of the brain holograms coming up, so we're going to have a little bit more in there, but she's got ESR, emotional stress. And she's also got the glial cell, which works in conjunction with the heart driver and the heart meridian. So she's still got the heart meridian showing.
Yeah.
Which could be that shock and that trauma, which is why it's gone to triple burner, because that's all thyroid related.
Right.
And then the nervous system. So her stress levels are showing as being quite high at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that would make sense. And then our immune system can change, you know, be compromised when we're going through levels of stress. So immunity one's coming up. The fungus, which we're seeing a little bit on the small intestine. So something could be going on a digestive level.
Yes.
Glial cell, that's all to do with the heart field. The brain hologram, we'll have a look at that in a bit more detail. And she's got some ESR, which is emotional stress release.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's been a lot of good changes in her scan. Okay. Which is all positive.
Right.
I love the fact that chills changed, took cavity memory imprinter. You know, so it's not surprising that she's sleeping better and actually feeling better in herself. So we can go back now. We go back now and have a look at the actual scan in detail.
Right.
Up to load. Yeah, there's nothing. Oh goodness, there's nothing worse than losing a pet, is there? It's just
Sorry.
there's nothing worse than losing a pet. You know,
Oh.
yeah, I've gone through a few losses of family pets, and it's like I said, like no, not having any more. I just can't deal with the stress anymore of yeah, saying goodbye to pets. It's just it's just too painful.
And here, everybody has one pet, or two, or three. I can't believe it. It's like they have cat, dog, chicken, everything.
I know
Uh,
it's just I think we're a nation of animal lovers in the definitely in the UK. We love our dogs, we love our cats, our rabbits, our guinea pigs. You know, the whole chicken thing is a big thing at the moment, isn't it? Everybody wants a chicken. So like yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so let's have a look at her sort of overall scan results. So we're seeing Erin that's coming up on diet.
yeah.
So it may be that she's just not absorbing correctly at the moment. So when we looked at the mind body and we saw ESR coming up, okay, this can have an effect on how we able to absorb nutrients in our diet. So she's got a lot of conscious stress going on at the moment. Okay, so it's that sort of overall communication within the body. So the ESR is definitely going to be a primary pharmaceutical that she's going to need. Okay. If we go and have a look at the brainstem hologram, okay, this can relate to emotional conflicts around survival, existence, and family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's it's the whole of the hologram. Okay, so it'll actually affect all of these different organs and tissues.
Right.
Okay, but if we go into the hologram itself, if we've got the biggest area coming up around the parts of the small intestine.
Yeah, it's where it
So,
has the problem here.
yeah, so we're talking about emotional shocks and traumas around something that can't be accepted or digested.
Right. Yeah.
So it's sometimes and we talk about starvation in the broadest term. However, it's being told that your family pet, and then is probably not going to be with you for much longer. She's having to try and digest that at the moment. So when we look at the go back to the energy source and we're seeing diet coming up, okay, it may be that she has we can have clients go, well, my diet's really, they're really good, and they're kind of, they're really very clever, careful with what they actually eat. But sometimes it's actually this can come up because it's around not being able to digest and metabolize correctly. Okay, because there's other things going on. So it's always an interesting one with diet, because there's people that even those people that have a bad diet, they probably often don't admit it.
Yeah.
So we can see the big fields of clear. That's gone from purple. There's still some areas going on in yellow. Okay. We look at the day in pharmaceutical. Okay, so this is how we are able to take energy from our environment. Okay, so we're sort of gathering photons from daylight sunlight. Okay, and what we're doing, we're building up our body's battery in effect. Okay, so we're storing energy. Okay, this also matches with positive emotions. So looking at the sympathetic nervous system. Whilst that might not be a priority on the pharmaceuticals, okay, it's maybe something that you can, just talk to her about things that she can do to help her body to spend more time building up energy resources. And obviously, we're coming into that time of year. We're noticing that the days are getting shorter, and that's all going to change again at the end of this month, isn't it? We sort of go back an hour. So when actually, by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to be pretty much getting dark. So it's just that, sort of our energy decreases when we don't get enough energy from our environment. Okay, yep. So things like, sort of doing some deep breathing, things like that, but really just trying to, spend some time in the daylight and get away from, from blue light as much as we can. So the energy strength screen, we have got a yellow on the heart driver. Okay, and I noticed that we've got still an orange on the heart integrator. Okay, and we have, if we go to the energetic immunity, we've got an orange on the glial cell. So this actually matches with ED6, which is the heart driver, and EI4, which is the heart meridian.
Yeah.
So it's helping people with their emotional changes. Okay, so we can sort of that healing to take place. So generally, Peter Fraser found there was a match to sort of circulation problems. So looking at stroke, heart attack, okay, even linked to epilepsy, okay. So it's really is about the sort of the whole integration of the heart process. So we might look at offering the glial cell to Sue on this scan.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll go further into that. So the priority that's coming up here is muscles. Okay, so we think about sort of muscles, joints, connective tissue. We're looking at muscle growth, repair. There are links to the digestive system, but also it's about the muscles hold on to stress and trauma. So is that what's going on in her life at the moment?
Yeah.
So energy flow. So we've got the priority is the thyroid.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at the cavities in the body, links to the thyroid gland and the thyroid function. Thyroid function in Chinese medicine is about not having the power to do things. It's that, when we have any form of shock or trauma, often that can go to the thyroid.
Yeah.
That organ gets quite upset with anything that's going on. So it's we can be looking at sort of the metabolism in the body, looking at hormone regulation. So we can see when we go in here with there's a 2 coming up around the adrenals, which isn't a high priority, but we still need to obviously take that into account. The pituitary field is coming up as a high priority. If we go into the thyroid, we've got a follicle field, okay, but it's generally, this is because it's purple, this is the whole of that meridian.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that for her,
it's like a priority, the triple burner for her.
It is absolutely, yeah. So she didn't have the small intestine last time. Okay,
Yeah.
we think about the small intestine, we're looking at digestion and absorption. Now, because we've got that relation here to diet, and we've also got that relation to ESR, which is about malabsorption. This is something that's going on at the moment. But there's also the connection with the muscle fascia field, which is 4. Okay, we can go further into the thyroid, into the small intestinal meridian, and see then any stress is going on in the back of that meridian line. We can also go into the parathyroid. Okay.
Yeah.
So probably wouldn't necessarily need to give this intraceutical at this time, because ESR will help with this. Okay. And then the neurotransmitters heart meridian. So that's what she had. It was a purple last time.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at the heart function. We look at neurotransmitters in the midbrain, the bronchioles. It also connects with some of the female organs. Okay. So we can go further in. We've got the sphincter field, cornea. We can go into the brain. We've got the midbrain field. So there's not a lot of high priorities.
Yeah.
Okay. But we obviously we take into account that obviously that was purple last time, now gone to orange, which is why I'm thinking the glial cell would be really good, because it's going to match with ED6, the heart meridian, and ED6, the heart driver, and EI4, the heart meridian. Okay, so I'm going to put that one as a question mark. Mind body, we've looked at the brain hologram, we've looked at ESR. We can go into emotions. So there's not anything high priorities in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's look at immunity. So this
yes.
AT1 linked to a chronic weak immune system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, could be related to long-term health conditions.
Yeah.
I don't know, you're aware of anything with her immunity?
Not really, she mentioned.
No, okay. So
well, what happened, she's a very busy lady in her clinic, and she see a lot of patients, and she has had COVID a few times. Is not vaccinated, but she got some infections, probably because of the relation with patients, too many patients, and probably this like shedding and things like that. Probably the immune system could be affected in that way.
Yeah, and absolutely. And when we're looking at the terrains, it's about memory in the body. We're not saying that that those pathogens are still there, but it may be left an imprint of memory there.
Yeah.
Okay. But it would be good to support her immune system, especially when she's had such a big shock, to help her with that. Then we've got fungus coming up. So primarily looking at the liver, skin, eyes, long-term issues with the large intestine. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's an orange priority. Just really understanding whether she's got anything in any sort of physical digestive issues at the moment.
Yeah.
We probably won't address this terrain on this scan. Okay, but we'll just obviously sort of keep that one in mind in case that comes up again. But also, really, I think because of what's going on in her life at the moment, I think we need to support her with her emotional support.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is why I was looking at the glial cell, because I think it's going to help with that heart field.
Yeah.
Okay. Stars. Okay, so the nerve star.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at the central nervous system, looking at all of the neurotransmitters. Okay.
She's a very thoughtful person. She is very intellectual. She wants to understand everything, and she's very, very intellectual in her practice and knowledge.
Yeah.
Like always, like when you talk to her, it's like very much like giving you almost like a class of anything she's doing, or that's probably the memory could be an issue as well, no?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a, we're looking to support the nervous system at this time.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's often, this one is often related to toxins. So often looking at accumulation of heavy metals in the body.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking sort of to detox the body from that. We're not seeing anything going on with heavy metals, but we might see some areas going on within the environmental screens.
Yeah, this is one thing I think I mentioned to you last time with this lady. She lives near an airport where is the run of the planes coming out and coming in.
Yeah.
And I think it could affect, because obviously all this kerosene and all these products they release to the atmosphere, they can come down into her field and probably can affect her.
Yeah, and people don't, when they choose to move to places like that, they probably are aware, they choose not to be aware of possible, because they fall in love with the property.
Yeah.
And they go, do you know what? Yeah, they just, that emotion overrides any form of, well, actually, is it, is this property reduced because it's by the airport or in this by a pylon? So they kind of choose to gloss over that fact because they just love the property.
Yeah.
And I kind of get that, because that's a sort of an internal struggle for people, isn't it? But yeah, they can move the property to somewhere that isn't going to be damaging to their health. Would be much better. Yeah.
I think.
And then and then we've got the video shock.
Yeah.
Okay, so generally said about where we've actually witnessed something, which is kind of like more stress related.
This is coming out on the infoceuticals, this video remedy.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So as whether we support her with that, whether this is an old pattern or whether this is because of obviously witnessing her losing a family pet. But I think the big one here that we definitely need to support her with is ESR. That's a massive priority. In terms of the energy rejuvenation, so there's only two purples showing. Okay. We look at the orange. We've got a lot more going on.
Wow.
Okay. So let's see what the recommendations is suggesting. So
yeah, ESR, video, nurse, triple burn. They are very accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. 5, 2, 5, 3.
The only one is BSH.
Yeah. So that's. We'll go back to BSH in a moment. And see whether where we need to.
The one is not there is the glial cell. That's the only that you mentioned.
That's the one I really feel like I would like to
add it. Yeah.
Add in. Yeah, and I might look at taking the
taking off one of them.
I'm thinking about taking the video off.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more the heart field. That's how I'm reading the scan. I just wanted to see what was coming up on the ERs. So the priorities that are coming up so you're loaning her a My Health for a week, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
So what we can do, we can create the My Health cycle for her.
Yeah, that's the other option, to complement with something in the.
Yeah. So it's suggesting ER5, ER10, ER52 and ER53. So we can add 2 more in there. So ER1, sensory cortex, aligning individual identity, taking charge of life. That could be an interesting one. We could look at the midbrain. helps rejuvenate and clear energy blocks within the midbrain, associated with vision, hearing, motor control, sleep, wake, alert, and temperature regulation on the heart region. So I quite like the idea of adding in ER15 for her.
That will be in the My Health, yeah?
Yeah.
That's for the My Health.
Yeah. Digestion.
It's like these ER are the ones that goes normally in the My Health.
That's correct. Yeah. So we've got the opportunity to add another couple of these in.
Because the device, when you do the scan, there is another section where is the My Health recommendations, no?
That's correct. Yeah. So the My Health recommendations is showing us that we've got ER5, 10, 52, 53, and then we've got 2 MRs. So we can actually add another 2 ERs in there. I'm just thinking, because you're going to loan her the My Health for a week.
Yeah.
It makes sense to add a couple of extra ones in for her.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna definitely add in ER15, and I think the other one is going to be ER1, the sensory cortex.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are her priorities. The matrix regulators. So we've got MR3, which is about restoring the matrix. Okay. So this actually has an effect with heavy metals and also reconnection. Okay, so it's designed to help with stress associated with the collapse from EI6 through to EI10. Okay, so maybe it relates to health problems. Okay, it was about restoring that. Okay, so she's got 2 MRs. Environmentally, so this is where we would look to make sure that we're adding in ES3, the nerve star.
Yeah.
Okay. So asbestos, BPA, phthalates, and smoke. We can look at solvents. So she's got quite a few: butanols, nitroline, xylines, metals,
arsenic.
Yeah, you know, there's probably a lot of stored imprints within there. Relating to food, mold. What is that one? Can be found in beans, corn, rice, tree nuts, wheat, milk, eggs, and meat.
When they come at this substance, it's like saying there is something in the body.
There's a memory in there. It's the memory.
Right.
So there's a memory of that pattern. So I'm not saying that toxin is still present in the body. It may have been present, it may have left, but it's left an imprint behind.
Okay.
Okay. So this is where we look at the related infoceuticals, and this is why ES3 is such an important infoceutical for her, because it's going to help the body to detox.
Yeah.
And clear those memories. Nutrition. So because we've already seen, wow, she'd be interested when she sees this. So because we've already seen diet coming up, we've seen malabsorption through ESR, we've seen elements going on within the digestive system. This is probably more to do with malabsorption at the moment, rather than an actual issue not having a correct diet.
Right.
Okay, but it might be that she needs some nutritional support at this time. Okay, so that's something obviously you can discuss with her. So that's the vitamins, minerals, chromium and copper coming up. Generally, this is to do with the body not being able to metabolize effectively. So if we can calm the digestive system down, that sort of fight or flight stress parasympathetic in the body, then the body can then absorb nutrition more correctly.
Yeah.
More effectively. Okay. So we've got some fat fields coming up. So some proteins,
Mm-hmm.
and antioxidants. Okay. Digestion, metabolism. So we're seeing metabolism, carbohydrate and fat metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're looking at malabsorption, so that's connected with small intestine region, and then this is the ESR.
Yeah.
And then we can look at blood oxygenation.
Okay.
Sensitivities. So, barley.
Barley.
Grains. Beans. Tree nuts. No. Citrus fruits. No, we're good on that. Nightshades. We're good on that. Anything else? Okay, so nothing. No big sensitivities in there. And then life journey. So this is something that you can work through with her. Obviously, she's got a lot, some stresses going on right now. So really where she sits with everything. She needs to be helped with anything. What we can do, we can look at the transformation, which is looking at balancing the energy centers through the body, the chakra energy. And it may be that you want to add in the transformation cycle for her.
Focus.
Okay, so let's look at the recommendations. So we definitely said ESR.
Yeah.
And we said we
Triple
wanted ES3.
Yeah.
And we also wanted the triple burner.
Yeah.
Okay. The brainstem hologram we wanted.
We mentioned about the glial cell.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is taking out the ES10 and replacing that with ET16.
Which one?
So the glial cell.
Okay. So how you do the change? Okay.
Okay, I'm just seeing. So hearing, audio processing, nerve. Yeah, we're definitely doing that. Nervous system, memory. See, this is now where it's kind of. I'm going yes, no, yes, no. Because obviously ES10 is coming up, which is a priority in terms of memory and the nervous system. But I'm also seeing a big thing. I'm still seeing a big thing around the heart field. I mean, obviously Sue. I don't know her. I'm just going from what obviously the information you're giving me. Do you think where she is at the moment that her body needs some more support with the video function or with the glial cell?
I think more the glial cell.
Okay, so what we do, we click on this button here and we just go to edit.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
Yeah, okay, so let me just cancel that. So I'm going to change this to glial cell. So I'm going to choose the ES10 and we've got these three little dots at the end.
Yeah.
And I click on that and I'm going to go to edit.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to scroll down and we are going to go to glial cell.
Yeah.
I'm going to save that. Okay.
Okay, good.
And then we're going to add in a couple of extra ER functions. So we're going to add in ER1.
Yeah.
And we're also going to add in ER15.
You go like a rocket. You know the program very well.
Sorry, what was that?
You go like a rocket.
The thing is, the thing is, Javier, I actually, obviously, because I use this every day.
No. I totally understand. I'm just saying the same.
Like,
my eyesight is going too fast. What is going?
So all we're doing, we're just adding my health functions in.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to move these into the correct order because I like to see things in a chronological order. I don't like things to be messed up. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is now we're going to create the My Health cycle. Okay. So this button here at the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, which My Health are you loaning to your
The second one I purchased.
Oh, okay. Which
The
one is
first
that? I
one,
wonder.
sorry?
Can you turn that My Health on for me?
Yeah. Do you want me to connect it or just turn it on?
Just turn it on for a moment. I just want to make sure that we're selecting the correct My Health.
Now it's connected, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So if you can tell me, if you go into the settings and click on My Unit.
1 second. Is this symbol at the bottom right, yeah?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
What you want? Go to
My Unit.
My unit, yeah. Unit 803 428 11 FA06. This is the top number.
Okay, so that's this one here. Okay, so this is the one that we're going to be putting the cycle onto, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's select that My Health, and we're going to call it Sue.
Sue Roberts. Roberts, yeah.
And you're loaning Sue the My Health for?
Well, I'm seeing this Saturday and I'm leaving for a week, say 14 days, something like that.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not going to give it today.
Okay, right. Okay, so we're going to save and create the My Health cycle. Okay, so what you can do now, let me stop share. And if you want to update your My Health on the through the BioSync, so on your computer,
Yeah.
you need to go to BioSync.
1 second. I need to go to find you the system.
It should have stored on your desktop.
So where am I going to? Where I do the scan? So
Yes, that's correct. Yes, and you'll have the option. It says My Health Updater.
yeah, 1 second. Let me just find. I'm quite slow now.
That's okay.
So now I'm in Scan My Health Updater. Yeah. Do I
Yes,
click
please.
that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Owner information. Check for updates. Check for updates.
That's the
Click
one. Yeah.
update.
It should start running a yellow parallel line across your My Health. Is your My Health still turned on?
Yeah. So it's do I have to connect it to the computer, My Health?
You do, yes. Sorry, yes, you do. Sorry, I thought you'd done that. Sorry.
No. Right, now it's on. There is the sign. Okay, something is coming. A yellow line is going through.
That's the one. Yep. Okay, we just need to wait for that to do.
It's like it's a quarter of the screen with the
Yeah.
yellow line. It should be like the whole, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll just say,
Yeah.
keep saying please wait, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And she will be using this cycle every day in the morning or in the evening, or
It doesn't matter whether doesn't matter what time of day she uses it.
and just allocate it near the body, like around the body or in the solar
That's right.
plexus?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to sort of get them to hold it around the solar plexus area. I find that works really well for people. Yeah.
That's amazing, this system, no? It's
I know. Well,
really,
Yeah, while that's doing, I've got to share this with you. So I have a 1-year-old grandson who turned 1 last week, and I don't work on a Wednesday, and
A 1-year-old.
he's turned 1 year old last week. I know, it's just crazy. I think, my goodness, how can I be old enough to have a grandson? But or grandchild. Anyway, I have him on a Wednesday, and he is the happiest little boy. He is just an absolute delight. He's a proper little boy. You know, the latest game is climbing up the stairs and then trying to come back down on his tummy. And it's like, no, 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 no. It's literally like, so we now have a stair gate to stop him getting up the stairs, because I turn him back and he's like, he's up there. He thinks it's great. So last week he came over, and he's normally, such good fun. Anyway, he normally I put him down for his little nap about 9:30 in the morning. And he'll go straight to sleep, and then he'll usually sleep for about an hour and a half. No issues whatsoever. No, not last Wednesday. He was literally screaming as soon as I left the room. So in the end, I brought him back down and thought, well, I'm just not going to put myself through this stress and put him through the stress. So he eventually did fall asleep on my lap, but it was like, goodness, what's going on? And then even when friends came over, my mum popped in, and he was just clinging to me the whole time. So I phoned my daughter. I was like, I don't know what's going on with him today. He's just not. I think I've got the wrong child. And she's like, oh, Mum, he's been like that, since the weekend. I'm like, so what's going on? She's like, I don't know. And so I said, well, okay, what I'll do tomorrow when I come over, because we're taking him out for his birthday, I'll bring my laptop and I'll scan him. I won't do it today because I've got people coming in and out. It was just too busy. So went over on the Thursday, and then people, because it was his birthday, it was just complete chaos. But I'd taken some pharmaceuticals with me, and one of them was the pea pharmaceutical. So I just put some in his water, and that night he took a little while to go to bed, but then he slept all the way through, which he hadn't been doing for the last week. And
Wow.
normally he'd go from 6:30 to 6:30 in the morning. Occasionally they might have to go in, but he was waking up screaming, just really stressful. He then went, I didn't see him on Friday, but he literally changed overnight back to our little boy. And she's like, I rang her on the Friday and I said, oh, how is he? She's, oh my God, it's like, I couldn't believe he actually slept through last night. It was like, just amazing. And I hadn't told her what I did. I knew she wouldn't have yet, but I just thought, I'll just see what happens. And I said, oh, I spiked his drink yesterday. She said, what did you put in there? I said, put some peace drops in. She said, just get me a bottle. And so we've been giving him peace in the morning, peace in the evening, and literally back to normal.
Wow. Did you do a scan for him? Or
I did do a scan for him on the Friday.
how you did it? You just put the hand on the device, or?
Yeah, so what I kind of like try and make a little bit of a game out of it with him. Yeah, so it's I try and do it usually when he's sleeping, because otherwise what happens, he's like trying to get the laptop, he's trying to get the my health off me. It's a bit chaotic.
No. Maybe an adventure to do it.
Yeah, so I tend to do it when he's actually asleep, if I find it much easier to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. So it's just, sometimes we just need to go, what does this person need? So I gave him some of the piece of the pharmaceutical, and
Wow, great.
Yeah.
Well, it's done in the My Health. It's for 15 days. Sue Roberts.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing you're going to recommend for Sue is the transformation cycle.
Oh yes, sorry. Where is this in?
So that'll be under the transformation folder. Yeah.
Transformation cycle, the one called transformations.
That's the one, yes.
Yeah.
And that's 27 minutes.
Yeah, 27 minutes. Once a day, no?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got her. We've agreed on her pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, I will place the order later on today.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So let me go back to share. Have you finished with you've got finished updating now, Javier?
Yeah.
Go back to share screen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so yeah, we go back to recommendations. So that's ready. That's ready to
That's finished for sure, Robert. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So she's done.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, and
The other is Mandy Hall.
default. Okay, so let's go into clients first of all. We're looking for non-default. Default. Okay, so let's have a look at Mandy. Okay, and we can compare scans again.
Uh-huh.
3rd of September and then the 8th of October. So just remind me a little bit about Mandy.
Yeah. Well, Mandy is she was not complaining of anything, but what I see is her emotional life is in a kind of turmoil. In a moment, I spoke to her before, and she's like having problems with her husband relationship in her life. It's very like big problem emotionally in her life.
Yeah.
That was the main issue. And on the other hand, is is a lady very intellectual, very like factual. She wants to have control of what she's doing. Why is this working? Why is question all the time? Is one of these ladies. She's a homeopath, and she finds herself always like with the indecision of what to choose, what to give, like because she has to have everything very rationally explained. And this like bioenergy for her, I remember when I sent the report, the first one, she come back to me, I have no clue what it is. She was like saying, oh my God, what is this, all this information? Because suddenly she's not having control, she's not like knowing what it is. But I think the main problem is the emotional, the life is like she's very lonely. Because I remembering one day she was telling me that she was going to see in Blackpool, is called Blackpool,
Yeah.
some fireworks, and she was going on her own because none of the family wants to go with her. Or it's like she's like in a kind of difficult times in her relationships. And
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
my I think we mentioned before last time about the remedy peace, or
Yeah.
um, something that's physically is not telling me that she has anything, but she was telling that she was sleeping better when she mentioned about taking. She didn't like one of her comments is saying, what is this in the water of these remedies, because I don't like the taste. She was telling me,
It's called
you know,
salt.
sorry.
It's salt solution.
Yeah, but she was saying, what is this? I don't like it very much. It's like make me feel sick. I said, well, don't worry.
It's I always say to people, I always add mine to my water bottle, because I mean I do take them directly in my mouth sometimes, but I find it is quite salty. So I prefer to take them and have them in water and sort of dilute them that way. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's see where we're going with her. So um, we've got the muscles coming up this time, small intestine and the bladder. So we can go and have a look at that in a bit more detail. Liver is clear. This is interesting. So the circulation heart meridian is gone to green.
Yeah.
Stomach has gone to orange. She's now got the memory imprinter coming up.
Right.
But the circulation and chill both cleared. Okay, interesting. Heavy metals, broad spectrum virus. That's this one's to do with cold, flu, and immunity. Glial cell, that's cleared. Brain hologram. We've now got the cerebral medulla hologram coming up. ESR.
Finished. Yeah.
Peace.
Love.
And so love is, yeah. So we had, yeah, there were a lot of emotional there last time. So definitely with sort of circulation, the heart-filled meridian, circulation and chill.
Yeah.
Glial cell, brain hologram, ESR. So a lot love, a lot of stress. So have you, when we see people, sometimes we'll see a change in people. So they look happier.
Yeah.
They look more relaxed.
Yeah.
Sometimes people even look a little bit younger.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, sometimes we don't see, any sort of people that, I haven't noticed any big changes, but other people around them will notice changes. So they're kind of like they're calmer, they look different.
Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting what you're saying, because when I met them in Sue house, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first time I just went, it was very like informal. But this time when I arrived last Saturday, Mandy did a cake. Okay, she just brought a cake, and I was saying, "Wow, what is this?" No, and in a moment I asked her, "What's your date of birth?" And she's 1962, and she doesn't look like that. She looks much younger. And I said, "Wow, you look younger than that day." And the fact that she was bringing a cake, like wanting to share with me, saying thank you for this meeting and all these things, it was like a good sign on somebody very intellectual, very factual.
Yeah.
And also the first meeting was in the office, like in the consulting room that Sue has in her house. And this time I went to the kitchen, which was more like informal, more warmer.
Yeah.
And then we went to the sitting room, a very comfortable, very nice sitting room with coach. And it was a completely different meeting this time. It's like, it was more like relaxing. The other one was a little bit more what's going on, what it is.
Yeah.
And probably this is something that has an impact on the person itself, even if they are not rationally saying, I have improved, or what are you expecting, or tell me what are you expecting. But I think they were a little bit better in general.
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because when somebody then, brings, a cake, or brings something, and it's in effect it is still a business meeting, isn't it?
No, well, it's a meeting. It's not a business. Well, it's a meeting.
Yeah. It's, and they say, "Oh, I bought a cake." It's like, "Oh, would you normally?" It's that can often be as like an internal change with someone's going on, because they've kind of opened up their heart field.
Yeah.
And are more susceptible to wanting to find out more. Okay, what's it saying now? So they're kind of like the guard has come down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's when we see the big changes on her scan, I always make sure that you share this information with clients, because they need to see those changes, because then they can identify, actually, yeah, I am feeling calmer. We can't fix someone's relationship. If someone's in a loveless marriage, we can't fix that relationship. It's something that they need to do themselves, and to get some support with that. But often what we'll find is that people's lives suddenly start to change in different directions.
Yeah. No, I feel that she was more talkative and more relaxed. Definitely, this is
Yeah,
obviously my relation with them is part. We are part of a group. Obviously, she's like a homeopath, lay homeopath, and I'm a doctor. They always consider like you are a doctor, me, you understand? But for me,
yeah,
that's you. That's not point. But they appreciate that I'm dedicating to her, bringing this new system, explaining, testing,
yeah,
and now I'm sharing my health, which they appreciate it very much, and they are very well waiting for how it is, how it works, and all these things.
yeah. Okay, fantastic. So
It's not a business because I'm not charging anything. I'm just going there and have in this case, have a cake, which was very nice.
which is good, especially when someone's baked their cake themselves, it's even better, it's like,
Um,
wow.
and and Sue gave me at the end some eggs from her chickens,
Oh,
which I really appreciated because I
yeah,
know they were from the hen from her house, and I said, well,
yeah,
that's very nice. That is little things that myself being Mediterranean, I appreciate it very much because here in this country people are emotionally very blockade and very it's very difficult to find these type of details as a common thing.
yeah, I mean, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The British population, we do, it's sort of stiff upper lip, and it's kind of, it's like, I suppose it's historically that's how we behave. um and I noticed, when my husband was from the Middle East, and very, very different upbringing. And initially when we first got together, it was like, we were so different with our emotional, how we'd been brought up. He was like so much more loving and attentive, and I'm like, I'm not sure about this. And then, over time, he helped me to become more open, more loving, and I was able then to connect with people on a different level.
Yeah.
And I just think, thank for him for um sticking by the Ice Maiden. I think that's what I was, years ago. Whereas now, quite happy to go and hug people that I've never even met. It's quite nice. So it's 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 very, yeah. It's just a very, very different upbringing that we have in the UK, and I think it's starting to change. Definitely starting to change. So okay, back to Mandy. So what's coming up on her scan in terms of energy source is grounding. Okay, so it's things that she can do would be to connect more with Earth's natural energy field. Okay, so it's most of us spend too much time indoors. Maybe did you scan her obviously at Sue's house?
Yes, yes, both on the
Um,
same day, both of
yeah.
them.
Okay. So whether this had a bearing on her scan, why
Sorry.
grounding came up, because it's actually it's to do with the energy being blocked because of EMF, so mobile phones, computers, Wi-Fi, power lines, things like that, or whether that's because she is got her body's become too positively charged, where it needs more of a negative charge.
Well, she's very much related to computers because she's the representative of one of these homeopath groups of software.
Yeah.
Uh, and so she's probably a lot on the computer and a lot around
Okay. Let's have a look at.
computer.
Let's just go to and have a look at the environmental screen and radiation. Computer's coming up yellow. EMF is yellow. But there's a lot of other things going on in here. Okay. Okay. Well, this if you're going to be lending her the My Health things, there's a lovely function called Energy Align
There
on
is
the. Yeah, so it's under the energy folder. It's called Energy Align.
yeah,
Okay.
energy align.
Yeah. Okay. And um, what she can do is just to use that over the palms of her hands or on the soles of her feet. Okay, because that helps to align energy in the body.
Yeah.
Okay. So other things that she could do would be obviously, sort of get back to nature a bit more. Obviously it's probably not the time of year to be sort of walking around on the grass outside with bare feet because it's a bit on the chilly side. But even having some mineral salts in a foot bath can help the grounding.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at her energy strength. So the only one that's coming up is muscles. So again, we're looking at, as what we saw with Sue's scan, muscles, joints, connective tissue. Could be links with the digestive system, could be links with metabolism in the body, or stress or trauma. Okay. So really, I suppose I'm trying to understand her as a person. If she carries a lot of stress in her body, often it can sit in the muscular system. Okay.
Yeah. She looks like a very tense person, very tense, like her physical appearance is like sharp. Okay, it's like it's always like on tension. It's probably very difficult for her to relax, saying like that.
You often see it, don't you, when people, they sort of like, you see it in their jaw, and it's like, you can.
Yeah.
Or they sort of like grind their teeth and things, don't they? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, definitely she has that part.
Yeah. Okay. So she's got quite a few integrators coming up. So this is about looking at the meridians in the body. Those are, communication lines. Generally, when there's a lot of meridians coming up, it's a communication process in the body has come out of alignment. Okay. So we've got the small intestine meridian coming up. We've got the appendix field, often can be linked to elements of bacteria. But this is the whole of the small intestine. So we're looking at digestion, we're looking at absorption. Okay. Often maybe we saw CFI coming up, which is cold, flu, and immunity. And this is looking at the mucous membranes within the nose, throat, and the lungs. Okay. So whether she's got something clearing within that area, whether there's an inflammation in there. We'll see the elements in relation to calcium metabolism, looking at the parathyroid gland and the hormone glands. If we go into the rear, okay, all coming up around the bone field. Okay, so maybe to do with calcium metabolism, and nothing going on in the parathyroid.
Yeah.
Okay. If we also look at the emotions connected with this, so represents our ability to digest life and to absorb goodness from it. Also represents our mental capacity for assimilating ideas and processing thoughts. There may be elements of poor concentration, indecisiveness, difficulty in holding a train of thought, and forgetfulness. Okay. Or also association with feeling fed up. Okay.
Well, probably this is because of the family situation as well.
Yeah.
That's a good comment. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Let's have a look at the lymphatic bladder meridian. So the sinus field again, and also appendix. If we go into the rear, there's a 3 around the coccyx field, the lymphatic system, lymphocyte fields. It's not make it high priorities. The nervous system. No priorities in there. Bladder. There's a 4 coming around the sphincter field, and also the bladder field itself. Be a bit of intimidation going on in there. White matter.
Yeah.
4. And we saw the evidence of the bladder, didn't we? Yeah. Okay. Again, emotionally, it's around fear. sort of fright and sort of loss of control.
I think she mentioned that she has one of her daughters is getting married, and she's like probably preparing. And in a moment, she was mentioning, "Oh, I need to start buying all the Christmas presents," and it's like she's like probably overconscious of the whole family, how have to organize the family, how it's like this is another issue she was present.
Yeah. Okay. So sort of wanting to sort of take charge of it all. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, responsibility. So taking too much. I said, well, it's still October and you start preparing for Christmas gift. I said, what? Where is Christmas?
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious me, it's like that's a long way off, isn't it? Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah. Okay. So the bone marrow stomach meridian. So again, I'm just going to put on the mic. I can't remember what the appendix actually represents. So
the appendix,
yeah, I'm just interested in the appendix and what it
that's
actually
in the Chinese medicine.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember what it actually represents. I know it's to do with bacteria, but I'm just appendix.
One second, I'm going to get my phone. 1 second.
Okay. Okay, so the appendix represents loss of power, denial of life, feeling dejected, fearful, angry, and uninspired.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's coming up in 3 different places.
Yeah, here the appendix 3.
Yeah, so we saw it on the mucous membranes. We saw it on the bladder meridian. We're now seeing it on the
yeah.
Got a 4 on the salival gland field. And this one is often connected with heavy metals. Looking at heavy metals in the body or within the stomach. So again, it's sort of that whole sort of digestion. And then the
appendix canal. Yeah.
Yeah, then the spleen field. So the spleen, lymphatic fluid, sugar, pancreas, digestive functions. I want to go and see what's going on in the spleen. No, nothing in the spleen as such. Yeah, so spleen emotion is about worry,
yeah.
Toxic accumulation, excessive worry and overthinking, giving it too much to handle. It's kind of associated with bad spleen energy. Ability to experience pleasure, a basic indication of well-being. Okay, so I think probably it's time for her to start nourishing herself, really, from the sounds of it.
Sorry?
She's about time she started nourishing herself.
Yeah.
On different levels, really. So let's look at the mind body. So we've got peace coming up,
Yeah.
which I think would be a really lovely infraceutical to give her.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one because it's about
Alignment.
aligning the heart energy. So it's where this sort of emotions are stored. So it's kind of like
I think it's all about emotions in her. It's like I think it's her priority more than anything else.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the cerebral medulla. So intellect, because you mentioned obviously that she's obviously very factual,
very, very
constantly questioning, and it's sometimes that can be, it's like, am I worthy?
Yeah, it's like a level of insecurity.
Yeah.
It's like it's a person that as an example, when you see the two ladies together, you can see one is, both are very intellectual, but one is very secure, very like on control, which is Sue Roberts. And the other is very intellectual, but has a level of uncertainty or not trust on herself, even knowing a lot. It's like what Sue said. She said, "Oh yes, yes," but it's like she's always with a kind of doubt in herself. Yeah, it's like
Okay, and she's obviously, what she's doing, she's overcompensating for that, isn't she?
Sorry.
She's overcompensating.
Yeah.
And they sometimes, when people they can appear to be very arrogant. And almost, it's like they're almost rude but they're not. They don't mean to be. It's just the fact that they're overcompensating for feeling insecure.
Yeah.
Okay. So intellect is coming up. So am I worthy? Overwhelmed, which is around the powerless to act.
Yeah.
We've got direction, which is to do with the adrenals. And then the feet, which is about not being able to move forward. So it's like actually having the ability to be able to let go and move forward.
That's part of the meridian, no?
This is all part of this brain hologram.
Yeah.
Okay. So this particular infraceutical relates to emotional conflicts around the theme of self-devaluation.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that from what you're saying, that would be something.
I think it would be a good remedy, that one.
Yeah. Okay. And in terms of emotions, so we've got positive emotions and we've got our negative emotions. So compassion. Sometimes when compassion shows, it's not the fact we have too much, maybe that we don't have enough.
Right.
So it's about disconnecting from your ego and self-importance and pride, and then putting yourself into somebody else's shoes. Okay. It's also about being compassionate to yourself and about self-care.
Yeah.
Peace.
Probably it's because feeling lonely in the family, like, is probably lacking of the same, why they are not looking after myself. Me, I have to do everything. I'm expecting that everybody should do something. I remember a little comment she did, like her daughter was very on her own, not doing many things to help the mother or something like that. It's probably, yeah.
Okay. And then we've got sort of head and heart connection. So resolving conflicts between emotions and logical thought, which is we're going to suggest the peace infraceutical for her anyway.
Yeah.
Meaningfulness. So this is about sometimes our ability to we don't have a deep sense of meaning in our lives.
Yeah.
And then we've got guilt coming up. So it can be around embarrassment, it can be around not feeling worthy. You know, it all comes from a sense of inadequacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's have a look at the energetic immunity. So CFI, which is to do with cold, fluid and immune system.
Okay.
So we have seen some elements going on within the sinus and the bronchioles. Okay, so it may be that we suggest ET6 for her.
Yeah.
Stars, memory imprinter.
Okay.
So this one is about identity, really. It's about being clear about who we are. Okay. Helps to support clearer mental functions, improved cognition. It's where those memories have been formed in the body, and they're kind of like stored as magnetic messages. Okay, so sometimes what can happen, the body will recall from those messages. Okay, and so what we need to do is to help to address the identity.
Okay.
It's also, links to metabolic processes, heart rate hormones, things like that. Okay, but often it's about the memory of the body, about who we are. So we definitely would want ES2, and then heavy metal detox. We'll decide whether we need that infoceutical based on what's coming up on the environmental screen as well.
Mm-hmm.
Energy rejuvenation. So she's got a lot of priorities.
Wow.
Sensory cortex, lungs, scapula, elbows, toes, skull, and bronchial. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably not going to be able to put all 7 plus the 2 MRs in there. Let's see what the recommendations are actually saying.
Scapula joints. It comes in the My Health, no?
Yeah, 61, 66. And then we've got 5 and... Okay, so go back to energy rejuve. So it's suggesting 16, 46, 61, and 66. So let's have a look at sensory cortex. Mindless body, mind session, and for the brain revolve around being in tune with yourself. Okay, so I think that will be a good one to add in.
Yeah.
Have a look at the lung energy. Represents our capacity to give and receive. Lack of trust, resulting in the fear of taking in life, being suffocated or living a fear life to full. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sadness and depression.
Yeah.
Level.
Okay. So we're going to add those 2 in. We are MRs. We've got harmonize emotions.
Okay.
Okay. So it's for emotional patterns that form self-preserving loops in behavior, and also the growth cone regeneration. Okay. So this is looking at sort of neural degeneration. Often we'll see this in sort of problems with nerve deafness. Okay, so that could be where the heavy metals are coming in. But the other one we're going to get Mandy to run is the MR cycle.
Yeah.
What we're going to do with that one. Right, environmentally. So we definitely said EI3. I'm thinking about the heavy metal detox. There's not any high priority, aren't there? Okay. Asbestos, formaldehyde, petrochemicals, solvents, toxic metals, agriculture, food, mold, and radiation. So no, I think probably just go with EI3 to support that. Let's look at her nutrition. So vitamin E, K, and B10. Minerals, boron, cobalt, manganese, molybdenum. This is obviously something that you can discuss more with them. Fat fields, proteins, and antioxidants. Okay. This may be shown because of we're seeing the whole immunity going on. So metabolism, no priorities within there. Malabsorption, integrated through, which is the small intestine, and then we've got the stomach meridian as well. And then blood oxygenation is good. So sensitivities, rye, legumes and beans. Nothing on tree nuts, nothing on citrus fruits, nightshades, potatoes, and anything else? No. Okay, so let's have a look at her transformation.
Compassion.
Yeah, so I love the transformation cycle. Have you tried that one on yourself yet?
No.
Okay.
What is that?
It's looking at the energy centers through the body. So looking at the chakra energy. And one of the things that can happen is when someone someone like Mandy, who's obviously very sort of headstrong in terms of her perhaps a lack of identity at the moment and getting consciously stressed about stuff, but holding on to that. We can become almost out of alignment with actually what's going on around us. Yeah. And any form of logical thinking suddenly just disappear. So what the transformation cycle will do, it'll actually help to correct that energy. So it's where there's everything, everything's blocked. Okay, so she's got quite a few coming on. I think definitely the transformation cycle would be really good for her as well.
It's on the transformation folder, yeah? The cycle.
Yeah.
The cycle, the 127 minutes, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so in terms of infoceuticals, I wrote down EI3, peace, CMH, the brain hologram, BT6, and ES2. So actually, the recommendations on here are as what we've actually pulled out as we've been going through the scan.
So we are changing most of them, no?
No, we're keeping them as they are.
Oh, we keep it.
Yeah. We can add some. So we're going to add a couple of my health functions in. So we're going to add in ER1 and save that. And we're also going to add in ER6, which is the lung energy, and we're going to save that. Okay, so move those up so they play in the right order. And ER6. Okay. In terms of patterns, so I generally don't look at the patterns until I've looked at the scan. So we've got the nervous system coming up, memory, and asthma support. So we are pretty much choosing most of those infoceuticals for Mandy anyway.
Okay.
Okay. So if we go and create the My Health cycle for her, are we using it on the same?
Yes.
Same one, yeah.
Yeah.
And this will be Mandy Hall, isn't it?
Put 28 because I'm leaving first to Sue Roberts,
Right. Okay.
and then I will have a gap, and then I think will be safe 28 days, but even would be done before, if you don't mind.
No, that's absolutely fine. Okay. So save. Okay, so you can do the same thing again after the call with adding the cycle. Now, you might not want to update and add that cycle until after you've
Sue, yeah.
yeah. So I probably would otherwise she's like, oh, okay, this I might, people might be intrigued just to look at somebody else's cycle.
All right. Yeah.
Possibly not. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Obviously, they know each other. It's not going to be a big catastrophe if she chooses somebody else's cycle as well. But you might want to just add that one afterwards.
So to add it, it will be going to create my health cycle.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Like you are is like
So
it will.
we've created the cycle already.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you'll need to do is to
Update it.
yeah, that's right. So plug it into your computer like we did before. Yeah.
That's fine, Helen. That's very, very fine.
Okay.
So I will be ordering these infoceuticals for her. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're going to be doing is in addition to Mandy's My Health Cycle, she's going to be doing the transformation cycle.
Yeah, and you mentioned as well the MRI cycle.
And the MR cycle, yeah. So the MR cycle, she only really needs to do twice in a week because that's 54 minutes. So what you could say to her, rather than sort of, we don't want to give her body too much information. So what she could do would be to run the transformation cycle one day, along with her My Health cycle.
Yeah.
And then the following day, then she can do the MR cycle.
Okay, it will be alternating. It's like she will have the My Health program will be daily, and then alternating the cycle and the transformation. Yeah.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that will be nice. See how it's going.
Yeah. No, I mean it's obviously
we
very
can have a meeting when in November after more or less all this is gone.
Yeah. No,
and I do a scan after this program running finish, and the cycle I do a third scan to see how is the improvement, how it affects. Will be nice to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, generally, years ago we didn't have the My Health, we only had the infoceuticals, and when the My Health came in, it was definitely for me, it definitely changed, because I think when people can feel some things happening with the My Health straight away, and then they take the infoceuticals. So the My Health is clearing those sort of blockages through the meridian lines and the mind-body association, and then the infoceutical is sending the correct patterns back into the body so it can start that repair process. Right. So the combination of the two is almost like a game changer in effect.
Okay. Yeah. Can I ask you a thing? Sure, one day Sue sent me a text. After the first meeting, she was very impressed, but she wasn't, and she mentioned, I don't know, have no idea. You know this Navi Organics, the Healy device?
Yes, I do know the Healy device, yes, yeah.
She mentioned to me, I said, do you know anything about this? A friend of mine highly recommended or whatever. I have no idea. I don't know if you know anything.
I do know about it. So the reason
about resonance or something. She mentioned the word resonance.
Yeah. So basically, there's a gentleman who used to work for Ness Health, left Ness and set up his own business with the Healy.
Right. Yeah.
So I did actually buy one to trial it, and you had to, it was a nightmare. You either had to have it attached to your ears or you had to have it attached to your wrists, both wrists, and then they put an app on your phone and it sends the frequencies. And it was complicated. I didn't feel any changes, and it also kept crashing my phone. So I sent it back for that reason. I got my money back, but I said I needed to try it because people kept asking me about it, and it got all these different frequencies on. And I'm like, well, I tried it and I didn't notice any changes. And I did give it a fair go.
It took me by surprise because I didn't.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like I'm asking you just if you know about it because
yeah,
there were an offer and say, oh, it's 2,000, it's £4,000, but there is an offer of £2,000 or something like that. A friend of mine recommended to me. Said, I don't know. I really don't know.
mm. This
Obviously,
when
when they saw this scan, my friend, the doctor who is going to contact you,
mm,
she knows Sue Roberts, and she mentioned, I think I feel more professionalness, like more
yeah,
professional
yeah,
than the other one.
yeah,
But I just asking because I have no idea. My feeling was like there were a little bit of relation between one system and the other system. Now that you said that he was in NS before, I probably took some of the information or
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. One of the things that they've done is they've created a multi-level marketing company out of it. So
yeah.
you get paid a commission on selling these Healy devices. Um, but I mean, I'm not saying that's wrong, because it's obviously creating a business. But what's happened, they don't have the infrastructure to support anyone.
Right, right.
So when something goes wrong, there's no support. I mean, it took me weeks and weeks and weeks of complaining to get my money back. And I was like, and it was I was in the the 30 days, what they offered. um and it was quite stressful at one point. And I was like, it's like this, I want my money back. It's a principal thing now. you know um but
It
yeah, I
was,
mean, I think anything like this, you kind of like, you've got to experience it for yourself to be able to say, does it do this, does it do that? Because I was talking to Harry Massey about it, and I said, oh, I bought a Healy, and he was like, you bought a Healy? And I was like, hang on, just calm down, because I said, Harry, I don't know if it's any good. I said, people kept saying to me, oh, Healy, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's just try it out.
that's why I'm asking you because
Yeah,
suddenly
yeah,
he said me, I said, no idea. But I said to myself, well, it looks like you were impressed by the system of the
yeah.
NES. You suddenly get in touch with somebody else who mentioned, well, but it's just to ask,
Yeah,
nothing.
no, I mean, I always sort of say to people, look, if you try it, do your research. I always question, why is it something that's been priced at £4,000 is suddenly reduced to £2,000? Like, hang on a minute, if it's so good, why do they have to cut the price by half?
Yeah, I imagine when I met them first time, they asked me how much was the system, the NES, no? And almost faint when I said the price I
Yeah,
paid. And I said, well, I find it interesting. I took my decision, obviously, but I can see that the price, especially people in England, is an issue, saying because money, people are very tight. Okay, so they were impressed, saying, "Why you pay such amount of money?" Right? I said, "Well, I feel happy. I found it very interesting," and I said, "Okay, let's go." I have like, but probably they want to go to something similar but cheaper. You understand?
yeah, I
But
completely
I
get
don't
that.
know
Yeah,
anything.
I completely get that. But obviously things are priced at a certain level for a reason. I think one of the things that people forget is that when you invest in a system, it's like most years I buy something for my business. I mean, I just bought a new laptop. I had to buy a new My Health. So it's a business expense. So rather than paying the tax man, I buy something every year for my business, so I don't have to pay the taxman so much money. So it's an investment in your business,
Yeah,
and it's another tool that you can offer clients. But I do, people go, "Ooh, it's the price of a small car." Well, not anymore. It's not, because the price of a small car is suddenly a lot more than 13,000. But it's an investment in your business, and it's something else that you can offer clients. So it's you will, over a period of time, you will get a return on that investment. You just obviously have to put some effort into that.
Yeah. No, in the case of, I have more relation with the lady doctor who is going to contact you. I'm more close to her. She lives 5 minutes from where I live. We see each other. And she's always like trusting me because we share a lot of things. And she is very impressed. Even we just did a scan, but her comment was saying, I found it more professional, more interesting. And in a moment she said to me, she's a very good homeopath as well. But she said to me, I need to go into something else. And when I mentioned about this program, I said, well, I think could be interesting. But obviously, she's living a very difficult time as you, because her husband passed away recently as well. So this is, I'm telling you, just probably don't ask. It's like she will tell you definitely, but it's like she's now in a time where she needs to balance her life, emotional and all the situation, but she wants to go forward. And the fact that I find this system, she encounter a gate to go through. And that's why in a moment I offer her, because I bought the system with a sharing option to the system. And I was considering giving to her this option if she wants to go through. She was saying, okay, thank you very much, very happy, but I would like to share it with her. And if you give the training, a little bit of training, or probably she's a very nice doctor, you will like it very, very much. I'm very keen that you met her and have a conversation. In the case of Sue Roberts, I'm a little bit more distant to her. I don't I'm as close to Sue, which is the name of the Sue Lacey. Sue the Lacey is the lady doctor. So if you met her or have the conversation, have this little background, but it's very similar to you because you lost your husband, she lost her husband, she's in a little bit of building up her life again. And she has 2 daughters and she's like trying to develop, and this bioenergetics, she liked it. She said, I would like, and that's why she asked me about the telephone to contact you. Okay.
Okay, thank you for that. I mean, I'll be interested to have a call with her, because it is that whole, it's a transition into a different type of life. It's suddenly your journey takes on a new direction.
I'm planning to see her probably tomorrow because I want to do an scan to her daughter. So I will probably meet her and ask, have you met Helen? I send you, and probably she will tell me. I said, okay, try. Hey, Helen. Thank you very, very much for this.
No, my pleasure. And let me just stop this recording and